Hi, I'm Christy, and you're watching the third of a 5-part video orientation series for prospective foster parents in the state of Arizona. As a foster parent myself, I'm delighted that you're considering this journey, and I hope that the information I provide in these videos will help you make a more informed decision. In this video, I'm going to talk specifically about kinship foster care and share with you some of the differences between kinship foster care and regular licensed foster care. So first of all, what is kinship foster care? When a child is removed by DCS, the department looks for relatives or individuals who have an existing relationship with that child. This is called kinship foster care. Most relatives start out as kinship foster caregivers, and then they decide to become licensed if they find they need additional support. Being placed with and cared for by a relative or another familiar adult is better for children than being placed in a regular licensed foster home with strangers or people they don't know. Because by staying with someone they already know, this helps children stay connected to their relatives, their culture, and their community. The most important benefit of kinship foster care is that a child is able to live with someone who knows them and loves them. There are some important differences between kinship foster care and regular foster care. Kinship foster parents often already have the child placed with them by DCS, have a blood or significant relationship with the child prior to placement, may be licensed or unlicensed, but either way they have to follow the safety plan created by DCS. And they often have a relationship with the biological parent, whether that's by blood or just emotional significance. So those are some ways that kinship caregivers are different from regular licensed foster homes. Now let's talk a little bit about how they're the same. If a kinship caregiver becomes licensed, they will receive the same benefits and supports as licensed foster parents, go through the same processes to get licensed, be expected to provide the same level of care to the children, and to follow DCS policies and procedures. And they'll maintain licensing compliance through ongoing inspections by a licensing agency and DCS. It's important to note that whether a kinship placement is licensed or not, everyone's number one priority is reunifying the child with their biological parents. As a kinship foster parent, you face an important decision about whether or not to become licensed. Licensure may not be the best plan for everyone. When you're licensed, you are eligible to receive an increased amount of money each month per child in your care to help pay the costs for caring for the child. You'll also have the support of a licensing agency to help you through the processes and the challenges. You and all adults in your home must pass an FBI and local criminal background check and have a level 1 fingerprint clearance card. There are several things that we found helpful for kinship providers to think about as they decide whether or not to become licensed. When children are removed by DCS, their parents are required to make significant changes in their lives before their children can be returned to them. You need to consider how time-consuming and challenging it's going to be for the parents to make those changes. Another thing to think about is this. If you have the children with you for a significant length of time, would it be helpful to have the additional financial support provided to licensed caregivers? If so, it would be helpful for you to start the licensing process as soon as possible. Another thing to think about is this. Children may demonstrate their grief and confusion through behaviors that are unfamiliar to you. Could you and the children in your care benefit from the training and support provided through licensure? Another thing for kin to keep in mind when it comes to considering licensure is this. If the parents are unable to make the necessary changes in order for the children to return home, those children will need a permanent plan. Could the licensure process prepare you for that situation? Now let's talk about the qualifications for a licensed kinship foster parent. You can be married, single, or in a relationship. You must be at least 21 years old. You have to successfully complete the training. You need to be medically qualified by a healthcare professional. This can be a doctor, physician's assistant, or nurse practitioner. Also, keep in mind that if you regularly see more than one doctor, for example, a physician and a psychiatrist, you will likely need both of them to fill out the forms. You also have to participate in an extensive interview process. This is commonly called the home study. Your licensing worker will ask you very personal questions about your past and relationships. It's important for you to be honest and open during this interview process because this helps determine whether you're equipped to take on the challenges of parenting a child with a trauma background. You also have to pass a home safety inspection. Refer to the LSI handbook for more details on what this encompasses. And note that waivers may be granted by DCS for non-safety issues. Next, you have to be present in the United States legally. This doesn't mean you have to be a citizen, but you do need to be a legal resident. Last, you have to pass an FBI and criminal background check and have a Level 1 fingerprint clearance card issued by the Department of Public Safety. Note that there are certain crimes that, if convicted, regardless of how long ago, will prohibit you from receiving a Level 1 fingerprint clearance card. More information is available, but if you've been convicted of a non-appealable offense, you will not be able to become a foster parent. And there are no exceptions. There are other crimes that might preclude you from receiving that Level 1 fingerprint clearance card for 5 years following conviction, yet other crimes that you may appeal. Please keep in mind that if you've had a non-felony DUI arrest within the past 5 years, you'll get a restricted card, which means you will not be allowed to transport a foster child. That's just the law. Also, for those who have a medical marijuana card, while the card is legal, marijuana is not. You can possess the card, but you can't smoke pot if you're a foster parent. Last, what can you expect when it comes to the time frame for kinship foster parent licensing? The length of the process depends on how quickly you and your licensing agency complete the training, paperwork, and inspections. To assist in completing the process in a timely manner, you'll want to make sure you follow all the requirements of the life safety inspection, and if you have any questions about that, you can work with your licensing agency. Ensure that all the paperwork is complete with all of the requested information. And last, make sure you have the Level 1 fingerprint clearance card for all adults in the home. As I've already said, when it comes to kinship foster care, it really is the best solution for a child because it keeps them connected to the community. While they're going through a really hard time, at least they get to be surrounded by people they know. As I wrap up this video, I hope that the information that I've provided here will help you make an informed decision about your own journey as a foster parent. Please be sure to watch videos number 1, 2, 4, and 5 to get the comprehensive orientation series. As a foster parent myself, I can tell you that it is the hardest and most wonderful thing I've ever done. When you foster a child, you don't just change their life, they'll change yours forever.